Yeah, sadly we're not on the gold class.
Welcome to our railroad adventure. It was originally booked in 2021, but due to the pandemic, we postponed it until September 2023. Now, at long last, we're on our way from Jasper to Vancouver, so enjoy the ride on the Rocky Mountaineer. That green roof building we're zooming into is Jasper's Heritage Railway Station, and tomorrow we'll be taking the Rocky Mountaineer luxury train all the way to Vancouver, staying overnight at Kamloops en route. Can't wait. Firstly though, we check in at the station to collect our tickets, our luggage tags and collection time from our hotel the following morning. Via Rail is of course famous for the Canadian, from Toronto to Vancouver, another bucket list trip, if we win the lottery that is. This is our train, and boy, we can't wait to get aboard. We're looking for car number 6, but had we been here a few minutes earlier, I would have gone and got some shots of the front of the train.
Yeah, sadly we're not on the gold class. We're in scumbag class further down. I'm going to whiz down and get the loco, babe, in a minute.
Yeah, that was the train.
I have to board now, so we'll get a shot later.
Good morning.
So this is our Silverleaf coach. I think we know we're going to have a fantastic time.
Wow, that was good. If I had any hair left, it would have blown it right off there. I appreciate that. Welcome aboard the Rocky Mountaineer in this fabulous 2-day journey as we make our way towards our final destination of the beautiful coastal city of Vancouver. We have a lot of sights, a lot of tastes, a lot of stories to share with you, and we are going to get this thing going right away as the train is already moving. It's a pretty genuine smile because they all get to go back to bed. They're happy to see you come, and they're even happier to see you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I go any further, I'm going to take a moment to introduce our team that is going to be with you for the next 2 days. He's responsible for all of that culinary delights, all those culinary delights you're going to be enjoying. Everyone say good morning to Nick.
Morning, Nick.
Wow. I like you two too. Oh, wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, as per Transport Canada regulations, I have aisle side hanging right out, ready to go. So if you haven't already grabbed that, so please grab that. We're going to be starting our services from the front today.
At what time will we arrive? Well, that's down to freight trains that have priority over a tourist train. Knowing me, the vestibule is where I'll be spending quite some time. We pass the highest mountain in the Rockies as we cross the Continental Divide and over the Yellowhead Pass. The journey from Jasper to Vancouver by rail is 569 miles, with tonight's stopover at Kamloops being roughly halfway. Whilst waiting for breakfast, we peruse the menu. The milepost broadsheet certainly has the most relative information, and the milepost pertaining to our route shows what to look out for on our journey, and it's full of historical facts and the mighty feats of engineering required to construct this railway. And yes, I love this photo. Just imagine our train being hauled by that loco.
Our next option today is our apple caramel French toast bake. That's going to come with Trump Farmer sausages and a warm caramel drizzle. And our last option today, our lighter option, is our field berry parfait. And that's going to come with Thompson and Fraser granola, berry compote, and yogurt.
Yep, no complaints about the food so far. Our average speed is around 30 miles an hour, but as you'll see later, soon slows down on some very tight bends. and coffee.
You're more like a contractor.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
Yep, this is going to go on for a long, long time.
But no worries, I've edited the footage down, as some of these freight trains are up to 3 miles long. Yes, we have to slow down for one of the aforementioned tight bends. There's obviously a lot of squealing from the wheels and couplings. And noisier when you're outside in the vestibule, of course.
And then the trees come.
So we have our first lake of the day. This is Yellowhead Lake to the left. If you are trying to keep track, we're at Yellowhead Lake. Our first of many. False alarm.
Probably regarding a wildlife sighting.
We're a little scantily clad.
So, we both ordered smoked salmon scramble. Smoked salmon scramble.
Lake.
Beautiful kind of teal turquoise colored, and this is just a direct result of something called rock flour, F-L-O-U-R, which is a fine sediment that is created when the glaciers scrape across the rocks, and then when it gets in the waterways, it reflects the light back, and you get those beautiful colors that we see here. Now, Moose Lake. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on the train for 9 seasons. How many moose have I seen at Moose Lake? Zero. I guess based on this information, what I've learned is that these moose never come up for air. James, what time do we arrive tonight? I can tell you as someone who's been here for 9 seasons that I have absolutely no idea. It's just always different every single time. Every day is a snowflake, very unique. And there are a million factors and variables that are at play that could really affect that. Everyone keep an eye on your glasses. They're going on a little sliding right now, if you have any on your trays.
An exact arrival time is not possible due to the freight trains, etc. And anyway, there's no rush. I'm on the lookout for bears. It's spawning season now in September, so you never know. They may be fishing on the sandy shores. Passing freight trains often have 2 or more locos to cope with the thousands of tons of goods and gradients.
I'm going to lose by huge. It's a nice bit.
A lot of the squealing comes from the floor plates between cars. One thing's for sure, we're so fortunate with the weather. Drinks and snacks are served in intervals throughout the day, but dinner will be in Kamloops after we've checked into our hotel.
Color to bright reds and bright greens, it really changes their whole body. Eventually, they make their way all the way up through Hell's Gate, the narrowest part of the Fraser River, which we're going to see tomorrow around lunchtime. Eventually, they'll do their happy dance one more time, or they'll do their happy dance for the first time for them, and then they die. 4,000 eggs. 2,000 were fertilized, 800 hatched and went on their adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, now, we had a guest on board, much like yourselves, who heard this story and thought to themselves, man, what a raw deal these salmon have. Just awful. And they had a pretty good, they knew how to write pretty well. They wrote a nice little poem, and I think it's a nice way to tie a bow on this little salmon story. And it's called The Salmon Poem, and if you'll indulge me, it goes as follows. I hesitate to be unkind, but salmon have a one-track mind. Now, once each season, full of fire, they swim upstream, higher and higher, up high cascades, up glassy glades, past stones and rocks, past dams and locks, from day till light, from morn till night, until at last on one bright dawn they get there, just in time to spawn. Now, having done their salmon duty, and having wooed their salmon cutie, weary from their trip uptown, in quiet waters they will drown. Pondering with their dying bubble, why is sex so darn much trouble? Thank you.
Yep, James sure knows how to tell a story.
Lemon tart. Bailey's coffee.
Once again, we're slowing as we approach some tight bends. Of course, this causes more squealing of wheels and coupling plates. So it looks like our train has extra motive power, with a generator car behind too. Yeah, gold class next time, and a domed coach right behind the loco, please. Here we're crossing the North Thompson River. The scenery, of course, is epic, but so far wildlife sightings have been minimal. Maybe tomorrow will be better, and regarding wildlife, the engineer is usually the first to spot them, and if so, quickly relates their position to our cabin host, who in turn will tell us where to look. another lengthy freight train passes, but at least we don't get held up.
The meaning of the word Kamloops, which is an interesting word, it's an anglicized version of the word Kamloops, which means the meeting of the waters. So this is where the North Thompson River and the South Thompson River converge, and there's a fork in the river. And essentially, since we build all of our railways and our roadways along where the rivers are to make it easier, in Italy, if all roads lead to Rome, in British Columbia, all roads lead to Kamloops. So that makes really a lot of sense, because we're right in the heart of the province, and these fellas here, they can be dispatched to any of these fires that have been burning all over the place. I'm really thrilled that you're able to come in here and it's not totally smoky. In fact, it's quite pleasant right now. A couple weeks ago, you would not recognize this place. Now you notice all these baseball diamonds here to the right, because this, in addition to being a perfect place to have all those forest fire fighters hang out, this is also known as the tournament capital of Canada. And because of its central location and all the roads leading here, this is a place where sporting teams from all over northwestern United States, western Canada, all converge here for every sport you can imagine. It's a spot where they all kind of converge. So Rocky Mountaineer brings about 90,000 people a year into Kamloops, and I would say that these tournaments probably double that. And Vavenby is, like many of the towns we're going to travel past on our journey here, is by big time a logging town. It's a forestry town, as evidenced by this mill here. There are multiple mills that are along this stretch. I think this one. Oh, right in the middle of this. Oh, this is derelict old wood. What happened? Oh, they went out of business. The fire was so hot, it burned, it actually hopped the river. So just a devastating fire. And this is 20 years on. So when we see all this, and as we continue on, it's gonna go on for quite some time. Note how little has come back since. Yeah, with all these fires that you're hearing about in Canada, and indeed around the world, think about how long it's gonna take for these things to come back. On the planetary scale, okay, yeah, it's gonna come back on its own good time. On our timeline, it's gonna be a long time, and for many of us, it won't be on our timeline at all, and that's what makes it so scary.
And on that cheery note, seriously though, global warming is a worry. Yes, we are lucky to be here at all, given the horrendous ongoing forest fires this year in Canada.
In a few moments, I'm going to get this drink cart out, and we're going to get this thing going.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, this is just how it looks. Yeah. All right, so we're going through this is your life of Rocky Mountaineer here. So these are all the old original Rocky Mountaineer trains, just a standard single level car. Now these two cars over here without windows, these are generator cars. This is where we get all of our power here, diesel powered generators. All of these gray cars here, we actually bought these two generator cars and all of these other cars just to get the generator cars as a lot. We were going to do something with these, and we may still very well do that, but we bought them just before the pandemic and then lost a year and a half worth of revenue. So now that can's been kicked down the lane a bit. So we will find out. Here's our station crew, happy to see us. So they're happy to see us. We're nice and early, but of course we're not the only train that's going to be coming into them today, because right now as we speak, that train from Banff is also making its way to Kamloops. And then of course tomorrow, or tonight while we're all sleeping, they're going to merge into one long train, and then tomorrow one long train is going to make its way into Vancouver. So we are 14 pieces of equipment right now. we could very easily be 28 pieces making our way back into Vancouver. So very, very long.
So, as we prepare to exit the train, our luggage is already on its way to our hotel and waiting for us on arrival. It's a very slick operation indeed. Oh well, for our first day on the Rocky Mountaineer, it's been absolutely fabulous. Scenery, awesome, absolutely. And the train journey, well, yeah, equally awesome. Yeah, the Rocky Mountaineer is certainly a fantastic experience, really is. Yeah, so looking forward to tomorrow when we go to Vancouver. But the scenery en route today from Jasper's been, wow, fabulous. Rivers, mountains, loads of trees. And yeah, it's been on my bucket list for years. Can't wait for day 2. Big thumbs up. For a basic hotel, we do at least have a decent view. Now we need to head out and find somewhere to eat. Roll on tomorrow. Day 2, as we prepare to leave Kamloops, known as the tournament capital of Canada, we're greeted by James and team. Last night though, we were surprised just how warm and humid it was here in Kamloops.
Hi James.
Good morning,
Brilliant.
welcome back. How are
Yeah,
we doing?
looking forward to it.
Did you have a nice evening? Great, great to hear. Oh man, come on.
Good morning, Linka.
Good morning.
How are
What's
you?
your step?
It's great to be back on board again this morning.
Good morning, good morning. Howdy.
As rail travel has always been my favourite form of transport, we are looking forward to rocking on the Rocky Mountaineer. These locos have 3,000 horsepower engines, and we'll probably have 2 locos on today. Today we head southwest, following the Thompson and Fraser Rivers towards Vancouver. First though, breakfast and coffee, yes.
Continue on is the Thompson River. We'll be following that Thompson River for a good chunk of today until it eventually meets up with the Fraser.
That one. And how about you?
We wonder what entertaining stories James will come up with today.
And the TB hospital and the hospital for those suffering with mental illness, they actually, it was a self-sustaining community, so they provided almost all of the food for everyone on the facility. I want to just say, just for a moment here, people can change. I'm a better person than I used to be. The old version of me used to tell the guests this is where their hotel was. I'm a better person now. Better person now. I don't do that anymore, okay? I'm not that guy. Now I will tell you, I have had the pleasure and privilege of being in those tunnels myself. As myself and 29 other Rocky Mountaineer employees got tickets to go down there when an organization a couple of years ago put Canada's largest escape room in those tunnels. And they crafted a story kind of loosely based on the history that I've just shared with you. And we were already grouchy because we were coming in late at night. We couldn't get our money back from our tickets. And they carted us out here in the middle of the night past my bedtime already, so I was already 2 strikes against them. Yes, we were out there. We were given 1 hour to escape. They gave us a bunch of flashlights. Everyone had a flashlight. It was all dark down there. And every flashlight had a different level of power intentionally, so some were dimmer than others. We really had to work together. 1 hour to escape, and I'm proud to say we escaped 59 minutes, 48 seconds. The last bit of us running down a long tunnel, everyone screaming like banshees as you could see the door slowly closing at the end. And there were 5 major puzzles to solve to get us out of there.
Sounds like fun.
Tranquille by the lake, or Tranquille tunnels, and that's spelled kind of like the French version of the word tranquil. Tranquille. Tranquille. When we emerge from this tunnel, we're going to get a great view of a lake that we're going to be traveling along for the next hour or so, and this is Kamloops Lake. Very long, very beautiful. This is about 40 kilometers or 25 miles long. and extremely deep, about 450, 475 feet deep in its center. Now this is fed on one end by the Thompson River. The Thompson River pops out at the other end as well. Very, very cold. Up until this year, I've never seen anyone swimming here. Now what does swim through here, of course, the salmon on their migration, as well as there's a local fish that's exclusive to this lake called the Kamloops trout that anglers from all over the world come to try to catch, to put that feather in their cap. So do enjoy this. What I like about this lake is hemmed in on both sides by railway tracks. So because of that, there's not a lot of building along through here, and because there's not a lot of buildings, it kind of has that kind of same rustic vibe that you might have encountered if you were one of the first settlers coming through here.
James tells a fascinating story of the gentleman bandit, Billy Miner, who robbed trains in this region of BC in the early 1900s. And this is just a snippet of the story.
Young man by a man named Gentleman Billy Miner. This fellow, he was known as Gentleman Billy Miner because he was so charming and polite as he was robbing you. Thank you so much. Sorry to trouble you. Have a nice day. They have those kind of short, pointy horns, and the males are hornier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, lots of eagles, lots of deer, wow, nests, but rather our Okanagan region where all of our orchards and our vineyards reside. Well, that was enticing enough that 72 Englishmen said, yep, sounds good to me. Brought their families all across the globe at that time, taking a steamship from England.
Yes, those noisy, squeaky plates that grind together in the vestibule.
Beautiful hotel, they had these beautiful gardens, they had these tennis courts, big rotundas. They would have these midnight galas where they would have people come from Vancouver and around the world and party the weekends away. They have the musicians, the best musicians of the era would come here and perform. Even C.E. Barnes, to his credit, that entrepreneur that bought all that land, to his credit, he didn't take the money and run. He stuck around here. And would you believe, in the early parts of North America, when you have your Chicagos, your New Yorks, your San Franciscos, your Montreals, the first in-ground swimming pools in none of those cities, but rather right here in C.E. Barnes' backyard. It was opulent. And no exaggeration to say, it was the Downton Abbey of the BC interior.
You can see our train has doubled in length this morning, with the train from Banff added on.
Big bags of money, and he built a bridge. And the fickle people of this town changed the name of the town to Spence's Bridge. Welcome to Spence's Bridge. Permanent population 135. Let me get this straight. If you're the oldest person in town and somebody else in town gets pregnant, do you get nervous? Think about that.
James certainly tells some hilarious and informative stories, proving what an incredibly highly engineered railroad this is. We'll be going through several tunnels and under rock sheds which mitigate the possible rock falls that obviously occur here.
And chicken, please.
And because they blasted so much rock along the stretch, there's areas where they've created a high susceptibility for rock slides. So in those places, what they've done is they've built these structures known as rock sheds, angled structures that cover the tracks where there's the high susceptibility of rock slides, and they would go right over the tracks and into the riverbed below. So we're going to see quite a few of those structures along the way to help mitigate the concerns, obviously, of completely destabilizing this side of the river and all of the rocks on this side. But do enjoy this stretch, really, really nice, and you're going to see a lot of that coming up, and I'll try to give you a bit of a heads up, especially my favorite picture of those rock sheds will be as we're passing. There's 3 in a row, and there's one particular spot, and once we pass that third one, as we look back to the back part of the train, we're going to go around a bend, you're going to get a really neat shot of the train going, and especially since we're at the front of the train now, we're going to see a lot more behind it, so it's going to be quite cool. I will keep my eyes peeled out that for you.
Yep, we'll be seeing plenty of Canadian freight trains.
And just towards the end of this river, where this river meets with the Fraser, there's a town called Lytton. There was a town called Lytton. Lytton completely burned to the ground. And it was a small town. We won't see the town site because our train line just goes just under kind of the ridge of where that town is. But I can tell you on that other track, we go right over it. And man, is it ever devastating. Those residents had 7 minutes notice to get out. Because the way the wind was, the blaze was furious and it just went right down the mountain. What makes matters even worse is for many of these people who lived in that town, the great majority of them are of Indigenous ancestry. They're First Nations, and their ancestors have lived on that land. Bear on the left. Across the river, they said, but I'm hearing it's a male voice, so it's probably behind us, ladies and gentlemen. What they've discovered is in the ground all kinds of artifacts from that culture, from that tribe. Can't get back to their own place because artifacts from their family's past, 2 years beyond after a fire. Yeah, you go online, you might see a picture. Heartbreaking, really.
Since you were talking about something for 82 years.
Oh boy.
This is the answer for
I don't know, it's going to be tough. I like a lot of you, but it's going to be tough to see, like, to decide which one of you I'm going to miss most of all. I can't tell, but I think you're in the running, man. You see lots of oxidized minerals here in these rocks. You see a lot of yellow, which would be sulfur, and kind of these purples in here, that would be oxidized iron. So we're going to see that it's on the kind of left on our side here, and then you're going to see it up on the right as well as we pass. We have an eagle nest across the way to the left. Looks like someone might be home as well. Actually, maybe it looks like 2 heads there. We got 2 eagles. 2 eagles. 2 eagles.
It may be stating the obvious, but there's such a noticeable contrast in the terrain and scenery in the southwestern side of British Columbia. And coming up, our first signs of the considerable fire damage in 2023.
The Fraser River is interesting because it is the longest river in all of British Columbia at 850 miles long. And from where we met it yesterday, all the way out to the Pacific Ocean, along its journey, it does not go through any lakes. So because of that, all of that sediment that comes down off of those Rocky Mountains gets carried all the way out from the Rocky Mountains. For every hour that our train lines are down, it costs the Canadian economy $5 million. So here we can see the 2 rivers side by side on your right hand side. And as promised, 2 very distinct colors as they roll side by side. So the confluence of these 2 rivers, quite stunning.
Well, that was good timing. Yes, those squealing plates. Wonder if you get them quite as loud in gold leaf festivals. The unfortunate results of the recent fires throughout British Columbia. Incidentally, there's no Wi-Fi on board, as many parts of the route are out of cell phone range, and we certainly don't miss it either.
Essentially, the indigenous people noticed that all of these guys from Boston showed up, and they like to drink. So that's how they get the name Boston Bar. So do enjoy this stretch here, and hopefully we should be moving a little bit faster. Sometimes we do go a little bit slow coming through here, as this is kind of a big rail yard, but hopefully this is a short-lived, slow movement, and we'll be moving a little quicker thereafter.
I'm fine, thank you.
But I'll have another. Cheers.
Daylight.
Interesting point on our journey regarding.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yes. Now this area is very, very popular with whitewater rafters. Points of the string, you can see the water goes almost right up to where the highway is. Count a beat, and then we're going to look to the back because the train's going to curve. 3, 2, there you go. You might get that shot. Kind of neat, hey? Yeah, right there. Kind of cool, right? Yeah.
Wow, just look at that bridge we'll be going over.
Train is playing a discordant tune, I would say.
Yep, more tunnels and rock sheds. Wow, forest fire still burning.
Canadian American Fishing Consortium built these large structures you'll see on the right hand side with those vertical slats called fish ladders that allow the fish to go through Hell's Gate without dealing with the full force of all of that water coming right at their faces. Now, you'll see that there is this bridge here I want you to look at the far footing of the bridge. Think of where the bridge is, go down about 10 feet. That's the highest water mark. So that is just an astounding amount of water. And to even give you a perspective of how much the water fluctuates even now, at the beginning of the season, the water was so high, it was only about 15 feet short of the highest water mark.
The rest of the beer? Oh, yes. That's exactly the way I want. That's that flavor I've been looking for. Just pardon me there.
It's late afternoon as we're back into civilization and perhaps subject to freight trains, only a couple of hours or so from Vancouver.
Thornton Rail Yard, one of the largest rail yards in Western Canada, and this is one of the major hubs for the Canadian economy, both for products that we produce here that eventually find their way out towards the Port of Vancouver, or products that we bring in from elsewhere around the world through the Port of Vancouver, put onto trains and sent across the country. From around here, we're about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes away from our destination. So right now, my colleague Lincoln and I are going to come around and for that kind of like last drink service of the day. Nick has I believe, something up his sleeve as well to keep you going, because I know it's been a while since we fed you. You're all looking famished. Yes. So we're going to come around and do that as well. This rail yard is interesting. If you're into trains and that sort of thing, you're going to love it. At any given point, there are going to be up to 3,700 pieces of rail equipment in this yard. Every type of rail equipment you can imagine, you may see as we go through here.
A little warmer, I suspect, Jasper. Yeah, but then again, it's tough to see.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, everyone's got their last drink, everyone's got a snack. Oh boy, what are we missing? What are we missing? We got a drink, we got a snack. What are we missing? We're missing the what? So if you had a bunch of chickens, man, that was really expensive. I don't know how much a chicken was back in 1904, but it was probably cheaper getting right to it. So we've noticed this beautiful construction site to the right. This is a brand new bridge, which is going to be replacing the bridge to our left. So this is about 1 3/4 years into it, and this is going to replace the automobile bridge to our left. So this is the Patello Bridge on the left. This is completed in 1936, the same year as the bridge that we are on right now. And this was named after a former premier of British Columbia, Duff Patello. Now, just beyond that, to our left, you can see that cable stay bridge. That's our SkyTrain bridge. And that is Vancouver and the Lower Mainland's fully automated rapid transit system unveiled during the World Expo of 1986, when the theme was transportation and communication, world in touch, world in motion. And when I say fully automated, ladies and gentlemen, I mean what I say. That means that nobody is driving these trains. Now, for you and I living far into the future, 2023, this is no big deal. But back in 1986, this made people feel really uncomfortable. Actually, take a look to the right here. We got a tugboat. Look at those massive log boom it's tailing around. And look, and we can see one of those log drivers walking on top, right on top of the logs. That's actually kind of rare. We don't get to see that too often. Very, very cool. You might get a really great picture out of that. Wow. And the only way they can get people on there, the only way they can make people feel better about being on this train, and you're not going to believe me, what they did is they put a cardboard cutout of an operator in the front. It's true. It's true. And somehow this just made everyone feel better about it. And now 250,000 people a day use this to get from point A to point B, including yours truly. So it's, yeah. And also now you know what my first job on the rails were now. And with the log driver on there too, that is dangerous stuff. that will be shot here. I've done a few of them here as well. So if we just saw the Vancouver Film Studios, where do you think we are? We're in Vancouver! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We did it! We did it! Oh my God. Doing this, especially since the train's going to lurch back and forth a few times. She's going one-handed. Oh, she got too tired. Back to the two-hand. Back to the two-hand. Oh, there's that one little guy with a little tiny flag. That's weird. Okay. Never seen that guy. Okay. And that's that. Wow.
Yeah, I think I'd love to go in the opposite direction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get some photos, now's your chance. Snap away, all you little paparazzis. Look, we know there's a million places you could have spent your travel dollar and a million places you could have gone. If you decide to come here to Canada and let us show off and have these cool little jobs, we really appreciate it, and I hope that everything that you expected and more happened on this train, and I hope you have great, great memories. Well, I don't know what you were expecting, man. I regretted that the moment it passed through. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure having you aboard. Enjoy your time in Vancouver, this beautiful coastal city. And I know many of you have many adventures ahead, but enjoy your time here. Have a fabulous time in Canada and a safe trip back home. Thank you so much. If that happened in front of any other car, it would have been not nearly as cool. That is so cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so please just sit tight a little bit here. As soon as we get that full set break, I'm going to get you off this train. Thank you so much, everyone. Cheers.
Okay, all we got to do now is find our coach. There's the gold, folks.
I'd love to do this again, but go gold leaf from Vancouver to Banff.
There's a British flag. Well done, mate.
What an amazing adventure it's been. Now we have a week in Vancouver to look forward to. Yes!